recently did for Extra. I thought the interview was very interesting, and I did get a request to recap it, so we're going to do that today. Before we begin, if you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe. It would mean so much to me, as always. So let's get started with this interview recap. First of all, Janelle and Christine look amazing. The post-divorce glow-up is so real. They are both very touched by all the support that they get from fans, and they cannot believe that it's been 19 seasons. The timeline this season will be catching up to current times, so everyone who is in a tizzy about that, you can all relax and rejoice. Christine mentions that she was yelling at her TV during the last episode because of things Cody was saying, and yes, girl, we are all right there with you. Something that I found very interesting was the interviewer asking them about using the term sister-wives for each other still. And Janelle says it's really a blanket term for anyone who is raising children together. She says there is a lot of shared history between the two of them, and says maybe even more history than she has with her real sister. And I've always been curious about this. I believe all of the wives have siblings, and I've always wondered how close they are with them. Also, I did look for the interviewer's name, and in my very quick search, I wasn't able to find it. So I'm not trying to be offensive by just referring to them as the interviewer, but I could not find their name. As of where they stand with Cody, Christine jokes right away that they don't stand with him and starts cracking up. Janelle is always a lot more reserved on this topic, never really throwing any shade or being petty like Christine is. She says that she wishes him well, but doesn't really have much interaction with him. Christine says that she wishes he had a better relationship with the children, and she's heartbroken for him because his children are the best people she knows. Janelle says she thinks that they are the glue that hold the family together, and Christine says, "You're cute, but I think it's us though." Christine says after she told everyone she was leaving, Janelle came and asked her what it meant for the two of them, and she told her always say that it's just lies and deflection, but Janelle says there is such a burned bridge that it's going to take a lot of work, and the burden of that sits with Cody, and I really do like Janelle's answer to that. I understand where Christine is coming from, but I don't think that her children have to take phone calls from their dad. If they are hurt, they do not need to talk to him. They can talk to him when they are ready. Janelle and Christine said that the relationship between the two of them actually got easier after they left the family. They no longer have to navigate their issues through plural marriage. And Christine says, we just started talking to each other directly. I really like hearing that because a lot of the problems in this family over the years could have been simply solved if everyone just talked to each other. So often I would be watching the show and somebody would have a problem with somebody else, but they would talk to Cody about it instead of actually going directly to the person. And now there were times when the wives would confront each other, but it would always almost be too late. The damage had been done. I'm thinking of Mary and Janelle's terrible relationship problems. Christine confronting Mary after Madison's birth, and her being the only mom that wasn't there, about how Mary's essentially just awful and no one wants to be around her. Like, there should have been conversations before these. You get what I'm saying, right? It was always like these problems could have been dealt with if we would have just spoken to each other when the issues first started, but instead they ignored it or talked to Cody about it, and we all know that he can't solve his way out of a paper bag. So it's really nice to hear that Christine and Janelle can come to each other with issues and work through their problems like grown adults. Christine lets us know that David has watched the show and knew who they were, and says that she was his favorite wife. Okay. Also, there's something that I want to bring up. Something that I didn't mention in my very last episode. I think it was, How the Mighty Have Fallen. When I mentioned that Christine went out on her first date with David, we of course did not see the date. We just saw her talking about it. And one part that I left out because it seemed inconsequential was that he asked about her children, and she said that she had 6 kids. And she said it kind of broke her heart to say that because she should have said, I have all these children, but she didn't want to freak him out. And she said that the next date that she went on with him, she was gonna lay it all out there and say, I was in this plural family. All of these children are my children. Janelle is in it till the wheels fall off with me. Her kids are my kids. I really do wish I would have brought that up, but there was so much to talk about with Robin and Cody's 3/4 of the episode conversation. But there is some really interesting behind the scenes information to go along with that. I believe it was one of David's daughters that kind of spilled the tea on this, and I will have to fact check, so I may insert like an edit or a text here that says if I'm wrong about this. But when Christine and Cody announced their divorce, one of David's daughters ran into his office and was like, "Oh my god, she's single, she's single." And David's like, "Who?" And she was like, "Christine Brown." So I don't really know if David sought her out because they did meet on a dating site, but he knew who She says that she thinks they're